저렇게 봐도 역시 난
나
내가 얼마나 열심히 했는데.
지아이는 왜 연기가 안 돼?
상담 쪽인데 배우들 연기력 향상에까지 도움을 준다고.
그 감정이 아니라니까. 늘지.
왜? 뭐?
방금 그거 드라마 대사니?
완벽하게 예뻐.
미쳤어? 아이돌 때도 오직 센터만 했던 나야.
가!
네, 차은아입니다. 누굴 상담 예약하신다고요?
그게 무슨 개소리야?
얘 또 무슨 또라이 짓을 하려고 그러는 거지?
뭐예요? 아저씨가 유지한 변호사예요?
아니요. 상담사인데요.
유능하다는 소문 진짠가 봐요?
사람들은 그렇다고 하더라고요. 꽤 유능하다고.
Welcome back to Kdramas Decoded. Today, we're diving into episode 1 of Love in Sync. And right from the start, this drama introduces us to two completely different people whose lives are about to collide in the most unexpected way. The episode opens with preparations for a major entertainment award ceremony. Everyone is busy getting ready, but the person drawing the most attention is actress Yoo Ji-yeon. Once a successful idol, Ji-yeon has now become one of the most famous actresses in the industry. However, there's one thing you notice immediately about her. Ji-yeon absolutely loves herself. As she's getting ready for the event, she suddenly realizes she's gained a little weight after overeating the night before. Instead of blaming herself, she immediately turns to her manager and demands to know why he didn't stop her from eating. Her poor manager reminds her that she's a grown woman, and he can't exactly wrestle food out of her hands. Determined to look perfect, Ji-yeon throws herself into an intense workout session, goes for skincare treatments, and even asks her makeup artist to contour her face extra carefully. To Ji-yeon, beauty isn't optional. It's practically a full-time job. When she finally appears in her glamorous dress, everyone around her can't stop complimenting her. Of course, Ji-yeon happily agrees with every compliment. She even jokes that her staff are lucky because they get to see someone as beautiful as her up close every day. While Ji-yeon is busy obsessing over appearances, we're introduced to our male lead, Cha Eun-hwan. Unlike Ji-yeon, Eun-hwan is known for understanding people on a much deeper level. He's a highly respected psychological counselor who has built a reputation for helping people work through their emotional struggles. We see him meeting with a troubled student and his father. Rather than immediately judging anyone, Eun-hwan patiently listens and explains how difficult it can be for children to express their feelings. His ability to understand emotions is exactly what makes him so successful. After finishing work, Eun-hwan heads back toward his office. Along the way, he notices a large advertisement featuring Yoo Ji-yeon. Something about the poster catches his attention, and he finds himself staring at it longer than expected. At the same time, Ji-yeon is on her way to the award ceremony feeling incredibly confident. She's already imagining herself walking on stage and accepting the Best Artist award. But her confidence takes a major hit when her manager delivers some bad news. The event organizers have changed the schedule, and Ji-yeon is no longer receiving the priority treatment she expected. Instead, another actress, Han I-jin, has been given the spotlight. Ji-yeon absolutely loses her mind. She immediately calls her agency CEO and demands an explanation. Unfortunately for him, he has no good answers. He explains that the decision came from higher up, and there's nothing he can do. That answer isn't good enough for Ji-yeon. Furious, she orders the driver to hurry up. The atmosphere inside the car becomes chaotic, and before long, they end up in a minor accident. Thankfully, nobody is seriously injured, but the delay only makes Ji-yeon even angrier. Meanwhile, Han I-jin arrives at the award ceremony and instantly becomes the center of attention. Cameras flash everywhere as reporters rush to capture her entrance. But then Yoo Ji-yeon arrives. The photographers immediately shift their attention toward Ji-yeon, creating an awkward situation between the two actresses. Rather than letting Ji-yeon steal all the attention, Lee-jin cleverly walks alongside her. Now, every photograph includes both women, ensuring neither one completely dominates the spotlight. It's a subtle battle, but it's clear these two rivals know exactly how the entertainment industry works. Elsewhere, Eunwon visits a close friend who owns a restaurant. While eating, they watch the awards ceremony together. His friend is a huge fan of Jiyeon and confidently predicts she'll win the top award. He even jokes that Eunwon must support Ijin instead. Eunwon immediately denies having any special interest, but his reaction suggests there might be more to the story. Back at the ceremony, the moment finally arrives. The winner of Best Artist is announced. And it's not Yoo Ji-yeon. Han Ijin wins. The shock on Ji-yeon's face says everything. For someone who spent the entire day expecting victory, this public defeat is devastating. When she gets home, the confident celebrity mask finally begins to crack. Ji-yeon cries alone and repeatedly questions herself. Why didn't she win? Is her acting really that bad? Her manager and CEO become concerned and decide not to leave her by herself. To their surprise, Ji-yeon suddenly appears looking perfectly calm. She announces that she's hungry. The two men immediately relax, believing the worst is over. That turns out to be a mistake. Ji-yeon proceeds to cook an enormous amount of food and places it all in front of them. She refuses to eat any of it herself, insisting that they finish everything. As they struggle through the mountain of food, Ji-yeon asks a question she clearly doesn't want answered. Is Han Ijin actually a better actress than her? Both men desperately try to avoid the question, but Ji-yeon demands honesty. Eventually, her manager gives in and tells her the truth. Technically, Ji-yeon performs every scene correctly. She cries when she's supposed to cry and smiles when she's supposed to smile. But the emotions never truly feel real. Her performances look perfect on the surface, yet audiences struggle to connect with them. The criticism hits Ji-yeon harder than losing the award itself. That night, she begins reflecting on her childhood. We learn that her mother had a huge influence on the person she became. In one flashback, young Ji-yeon helps another child performer remember her lines before a performance. Instead of praising her kindness, her mother scolds her. She tells Ji-yeon that helping others only hurts her own chances of success. According to her mother, Ji-yeon should focus solely on reaching the top. Afterward, when the grateful child offers Ji-yeon some chocolates, Ji-yeon throws them away. It's a heartbreaking moment that reveals how early she was taught to suppress empathy. The next day, Ji-yeon encounters Han Ijin again. Their rivalry continues as Ijin casually points out how tired and swollen Ji-yeon looks after her emotional night. Naturally, Ji-yeon refuses to admit she's upset, but the comment stays in her head. Meanwhile, Ji-yeon's manager and CEO are searching for ways to improve her acting. That's when they think of Cha Eun-won. As one of the country's most respected counselors, maybe he can help Ji-yeon understand emotions more deeply. At first, Ji-yeon refuses. She doesn't trust strangers and hates the idea of sharing her personal thoughts. But everything changes the moment she hears that Han Ijin has been seeing Eun-won as a client. Suddenly, Ji-yeon is interested. Soon afterward, she arrives at Eun-won's office. The building looks much older and less impressive than she expected, causing her to question whether he's really as famous as everyone claims. Inside, Eun-won begins their first session. Almost immediately, he notices how defensive she is. Every question receives a shallow answer. Whenever he tries to discuss her feelings, she changes the subject. Whenever he asks about her childhood, she avoids the topic completely. Eun-won quickly realizes that Ji-yeon is someone who has spent years building walls around herself. Then things take an unexpected turn. While Eun-won briefly steps away, the power suddenly goes out. A heavy storm is raging outside. To make matters worse, the office door accidentally locks, trapping Ji-yeon inside. The moment she realizes she's trapped, panic takes over. She begins screaming and desperately pounding on the door. Flashbacks from her childhood flood her mind. Something connected to rain and darkness has clearly traumatized her. Outside, Eun-won hears her cries and rushes back. Realizing the door is locked, he forces his way inside. What he finds shocks him. The confident celebrity who always acts untouchable is curled up in fear, trembling and struggling to breathe. Recognizing the signs of a panic attack, Unwon immediately takes control of the situation. He calmly instructs her to focus on him. Look at me. Breathe in, breathe out. Slowly, Jiyeon follows his guidance. Little by little, her breathing steadies. As she calms down, fragments of painful memories continue surfacing, while Unwon seems strangely affected by seeing her in this vulnerable state. Then, in a surprisingly emotional moment, Jiyeon apologizes and moves closer to him. And with that powerful cliffhanger, episode 1 comes to an end. The drama has already established a fascinating contrast between a woman who struggles to understand emotions and a man who understands them better than anyone. But judging by that ending, their connection may run much deeper than either of them realizes. And that's everything that happened in episode 1 of Love in Sync,